to save the planet and to stop climate change, all those young people who protested at Glasgow and all around the world for people to do something about climate change must set an example and refuse and deny all Christmas presents this year. In fact, if they were really serious about doing something about climate change and protecting the planet, all those young people who seem to be at the vanguard of all the protests, the ones making the most noise about it, the most concerned about it, must therefore take action and become basically virtually non-consumers of all manufactured goods, which then means they reduce their energy footprint and the CO2 footprint upon the planet. And they get a more spiritual connection to being upon this plane whilst they're alive, and they will actually then benefit themselves and the planet by their non-consumption of manufactured goods. Because it's the problem has been over the years, a massive, each Christmas, trillions of dollars are spent on trinkets to placate children who make these demands by parents who can't say no and get into bigger and bigger debt to create more and more pollution, which then damages the planet, just to hand over some Christmas presents that please people for a day, and after that it's all over and done with. All there's a debt, credit card debt to deal with. So if you want to make Christmas mean something this year, do not ask for Christmas presents. Say to Santa, we want a cleaner, greener earth. We want to become spiritually connected to this campaign, to clean up the environment. We're not going to consume much anymore. We're going to cut back on consuming all manufactured goods that we can think of, that we can do without. iPads, or anything like that with a silicon chip in it has got to go through a manufacturing process and be transported across the world, and all that pollution and all that ships is destroying the planet with CO2, and we no longer can have that. We can't have this. We can't be serious about stopping climate change unless the young people take the lead and start demanding their parents stop buying them things. That's the only way they can then be seen as genuinely concerned about the planet, because they're saying, politicians, you must do something, you must do something, you must do something about climate change, and yet it's up to them as young people to take the lead in this and show the adults the way by becoming non-consumers of manufactured goods. And this may cause a bit of disruption to the economic process of the world, but it's bound to be worth it, because in the end they get a better planet. They stop the planet roasting in the great heat waves that shall come with masses of CO2 that are polluting the atmosphere. And it's time for young people to show the lead and take the lead in the role of doing something about the planet by being actively non-consumers. Give away the iPads. We don't want an iPad. You can live without them. They're poisoning your mind and advertising things all the time and tempting you to buy things that then add to consumption. And each piece of consumption means energy is being used. And energy use is going to be, in the end, somewhere is going to be burning coal and using fossil fuels in that process. And we're trying to get to net zero. And if we get to net zero, the sooner we do, the better. The sooner we get to net zero, the better, obviously. Because it's better for all and better for the planet. So the sooner young people take the lead and say, we don't want Christmas presents anymore, we can do without all that birthday presents, we can do without all of that. We use our legs for walking or get on a push bike. We shall become more physically active, eat better food so we don't become unhealthy, read books so we become better educated. do things for ourselves. Keep physically active is important. Get engaged in social activities that are nothing to do with anything that's being produced by manufacture, and therefore you are beginning to set the new age of preserving life on this planet and stopping climate change by the actions of the young. No good demanding politicians do something about the consumption of goods that are manufactured which causes CO2 and pollution when it's young people demanding all these goods are given to them to placate them and make them happy, because that's what they're being habituated to. It's starting to get out of the addiction and a habit of consumption by the young will give them the planet and the beauty and the climate that they demand and they expect and they've got a right to. Thank you. No more Christmas presents, birthday presents and all those things will impact upon the climate. And then young people can make the demands to their parents and Santa, we don't want presents. We don't want iPads, we don't want any of that sort of stuff. We're going to do without. We're going to be like our grandparents did in the 50s and live stoically without all that stuff. And then we're going to take the planet back to a more natural way of being. Thank you.